Alright, I'm going to do a React video. I have no idea if this is going to work or not because I don't want to play the. I don't have it set up where you can hear what I'm reacting to, but basically we're going to go on the premise that you've heard this song before already, or you're going to listen beforehand, or during this. So what I want you to do is, if you look up Thievery Corporation, Tropicando. That's my video I'm going to react to. I don't think I've ever heard this band, um, and someone recommended it, so I was going to do a reaction video of it. And I've got a cold right now, so I'm going to have to take it easy here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this and just give my reaction to this video. I don't know much about this other than it's got Les Baxter music on it. It's a version of Tropicando, a Les Baxter song. It's kind of like the people that like lounge music and tiki music are saying that this is cool. And so I want to know if it's cool. So I'm going to tell you if I think this is kind of cool. It might not be cool for me, but we'll see. Okay. I'm hearing some Latin beats. Nice. Listen to that strings. I love strings. Oh, that's nice. I liked how the strings stopped and go, and oh, and that chord right there. Oh, this is just choice. I'm going to re-listen to this later, so don't worry if I talk over it. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, I definitely want to hear it. I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm at the 115 mark, 116 mark. Okay, I just have a couple things to say right now. You always get associations to other songs when you're listening to stuff, and there's a song called "A Love Supreme" by Carl Santana and John McLaughlin, and those are jazz fusion giants. And I'm a progressive rock Yes fan, and I also love fusion too. One of my favorite records ever, if not my favorite record ever, was Billy Cobham's Spectrum. Anyway, so this is pretty good that I'm getting kind of a groove from that, a Latin Carlos Santana kind of groove, but I'm also getting a lot of nostalgia, imagining myself back, when I was a kid back in the 60s hearing this kind of music, because that was common to hear it. It's kind of elevator music in a way, but um, like Kmart or something, I don't know, like a elevator. And the J.C. Penney and El Cajon used to have really good jazz stuff. You'd hear Wes Montgomery and stuff at the J.C. Penney and El Cajon, on their system. And I remember hearing jazz a lot for some reason there. I think the guy that owned it or something was into jazz or something. I don't know what the deal was. But anyway, I'm kind of going on too long here. So just since I'm at a stopping point, I want to say a couple other things. It's showing a nice uh, image of a cake, and it's kind of distracting. So I'm going to just try to ignore that. I'm going to collapse that and listen further. Guitar. Oh, that was awesome. Oh, this is nice. Oh, has strings and some real high notes there, and dissonant almost. Really, that's kind of cool that it was kind of edgy. Like as far as they weren't just happy with just doing a piece of music that sounded really really nice and was relaxing. They built tension. You could feel a buildup, and I'm not used to that. Usually, if you're hearing something like bossa nova music, there's no tension buildup other than the sexual tension. Maybe as it goes along, you're kind of getting more into it, and it gets more climactic. Maybe I don't know, or just because it's fast, sometimes you can put a cool solo in there that really gets you going. But this composition is amazing. I'm sure I've heard this before. It sounded very familiar, but I didn't know. You know, if you were telling me what Tropicando, Les Baxter, or Thievery Corporation was, I would be like, what I'm really the thing questions I've got is I was expecting to hear something that was modern sounding, and this is lo-fi. I mean, I was surprised at how lo-fi this is. Is this the original? Is this from the '60s? I mean, it sounded exactly like something that was recorded, you know, back in the '50s or '60s, you know, with the guitar in it. That's a hip piece of music, though. He was right. He hit it nail. And this guy recommended a friend on Facebook recommended some other stuff, and now I'm like, well, I want to hear that stuff. You know, what's better than this? Not good luck. You know what? I should do a reaction right now of the other stuff because you're going to find out if I think something's better than this. And so I'm going to have to do this. So I'm going to just really quick up look for what did he say? There's another thing he had. It was, well, here's another guy, Red Price and the Blues Beats Rorin. Okay. So this is a totally different segue into something different. Um, so look up Price and the Blue Beats Rorin. This looks uh, very old record. I have no idea what this is, so this could be really exciting. And they're kind of shifting gear into this kind of, it says Jamaican ska. So let's see what that's all about. Oh, now it's swinging. Oh, it's just getting better and better. Now piano solo. Okay, you're probably wondering why now. Do I think this is better than the last thing? No. Immediate answer is no. Now, this is interesting though because this looks like an early example of jazz rock fusion. Basically, it's a rock and sounding record. When you first start listening to it, it's got a very um, doesn't have that swing that you expect from a jazz record. It was very choppy. I don't know if it's some kind of Latin beat or what. I didn't know what I was listening to. I was like, well, "What is this?" So it was interesting. You know, I was like, well, "What's going on here, buddy? This is going down a road. I've never been down this road." You know, but so it's Roaring by R. Price, Red Price, Blues Beats Roaring, and I'm at the 114 mark. Paused here, and I don't know what to say too much. All I can say is that what I'm listening to right now, I believe, is rock and jazz. That maybe some jazz band said, you know what, we need to get our stuff together. Elvis is hitting, and all these rock bands are getting. And that's what Cherry Wainer is a very similar phenomena. They're a jazz musician. She's English jazz organist. So this guy's probably going, "Oh, you would probably like this if you like these old jazzers. They're getting into rock. Then you might want to check this out." And so what I'm basically hearing is some cool, really jazz trying to be as rowdy as it can be, kind of. It's a pretty rough ride, but it has a little bit of swing. And they finally said, we're going to have some swing in this. And then when it starts to get swinging, it's kind of like these guys can play, it's pretty impressive. And this piano solo is really smooth. So let me see how good a jazz band can kind of rock out and still kind of keep that smooth, that nice swing going. So it's swinging. That it's English, I guess. 61. So I got another comment on this is when I'm hearing that, it's almost like one of the big rock guys that I like, one of the hard rock guys, like Led Zeppelin or somebody, picked that up and played that riff. That riff sounds kind of familiar. So this probably was a pretty influential. It's only got 1,300 views, but it could have been a very influential record later on to different British musicians. It looks like a British release, Blue Beast. Uh, yeah, it looks very British. Manufactured owner of the record, reserved. It's kind of British sounding. And it says it was published, it was Melodisc Records Limited. So unless it's Canadian, they don't have limited in America that I know of. Huh. It's very interesting. It's almost got like a heavy metal sound, like it's hard to describe. It's almost like they use these sensibilities on rock and roll. And when it transferred over it's a very interesting record. I'm not sure if I played too many times again because it wasn't that pleasant of a record. It was a rock and roll record or a jazz record that was um, pretty fast and pretty busy. And I'm not sure if I would be in the mood to listen to this if I was in the mood to hear something. But this would be fun to take to a party, actually. I like or learn this song and play it in front of people like it sounds like something fun to play on a guitar. Just so it's got a riff there, which is really weird. I'm like getting rock riffs from a jazz song. I suppose you can do that, but it, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Man, now I want to do another one, but I got to end these after about 10 minutes. So I'll do another one. I think I'm having fun, and I don't care if anybody likes this. I'll just do my thing as long as I can do it, So I hope I got to end this and save it correctly. Sometimes it won't save. I don't know why.